First we have Jennifer on line 1.
Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning, Matthew. I'm totally and utterly with you on all this, because if they'd have been given the appropriate sentence to start with, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, they were given the appropriate sentence, which was life.
Not appropriate to the crime they committed, because whether they were 10, 20, whatever age they were evil, and they knew exactly what they were doing to that little boy. And his mother, every time something like this crops up, his mother has got to relive that over and over again. If they'd have been put away for the life sentence that they should have got that meant life, then she would have been able to perhaps move on with her life. But she has got this incessant recapping and recalling. She must feel as though her hands are tied behind her back because she doesn't know anything.
We were talking yesterday about long-serving lifers. And you've got Harry Page out there, wasn't it? Harry Page, yeah, he killed 3 coppers in 1964, I think, prosecuted in 1965, still behind bars after 44 years. These 2 boys, the things they did to James Bulger, you know about, you can't even discuss them at this time of day. They were so repulsive. They do 8.
They're children.
But they're killers. They're killers, Yasmin.
I had absolutely no problem. I never wanted Myra Hindley to leave prison. I really was adamant that all those people who were seduced by her, you know, were wrong. She should never have left prison, and I'm glad she died when she died, where she died. But here, with those parents, you know, whose victims were killed by Myra and Brady, were you know, you never get over it.
No.
You can't. And now you feel for these parents. Even if these boys were stuck forever, that pain would never leave you.
I do wonder whether the pain would be assuaged a bit if they were still behind bars. I really do. Thank you, Jennifer. Let's have another.
Next we have John on line 2.
Morning, John.
Morning.
So, what would you like to know? Do you think we have a right to know?
Well, I used to be a teacher for people that have been excluded from mainstream education.
Oh, yeah.
And John Venables was actually a student of mine. But at the time, none of the teaching team knew. His identity was protected that much that you just knew that there was a child in the system that, you know, was... had been excluded, for want of a better word. That's all we knew. And when he sort of moved on to a different area, programme, etc., that's only then did we find out. What riles me again, like everybody's just been saying, that Jamie Bulger's poor mother has to go through this once again. The same as always in this country, we are protecting the rights of the offender rather than the offendee, and it's getting ridiculously out of control.
I can understand why they don't want to tell us where he is. I can absolutely understand that. I don't understand why we can't be told what he's done.
Absolutely.
I just don't understand why we can't be told.
It's the protection of what's happening. I mean, when you look at the details of people like Fred West, he had a history from being a young teenager of all sorts of offences that were never actually prosecuted. Now, if John Venables is starting down some sort of path that's going to mirror this, then maybe if we did know what it was, we'd be averting some of these horrific serial killers.
But then we have to temper that with the point Yasmin raised right at the beginning, and people are emailing in and echoing, which is, of course, the fact that he is back behind bars proves the system that's keeping an eye on him is working. And that is indisputable. It is working, but it...
Well, no, I disagree.
No?
But the punishment system's still working because he's behind bars. If the system worked properly, because we don't punish in this country, do we? We rehabilitate. And
it's supposed to be a bit of both.
I'm sorry?
But you say the system's worked. I mean, let's say, and we have no reason to suppose this at all, but it is possible, let's say he's killed again. The system wouldn't have worked because he's killed again. He may be back behind bars, but you can't say that the system has worked if there's another dead body.
Well, we need to know.
Well...
We need to know.
So
before we jump onto that one, I think.
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? Speculation. John, thank you. Just more.
We have Linda on line 4.
Linda, good morning.
Hi.
What would you like to know? Do you think we should know anything?
I think we should definitely know.
Know what?
If he has been coming back into Merseyside, I think the people of Merseyside need to know. This is a dangerous person. What they've done to that poor child was horrific. And at the end of the day, they haven't served 1 day's prison. They were in a secure children's unit.
Yeah.
You know, they were there for for 8 years, but they still haven't served a proper day's prison.
But then, Linda, you see, that the bleeding hearts will tell you they were 10 years old, they had the most dreadful upbringing.
They may be, but so have an awful lot of children had worse upbringing than them. what they done was horrific. It was planned. They knew exactly what they were doing. They tortured that poor baby. You know, they didn't just go out and kill him.
Yeah.
They tortured him. They knew what they were doing. They're evil. They are very evil children. And
Okay.
I am glad he's back where he belongs.
Well-
I just wish to God everybody, especially the people of Liverpool, knew why he was there.
I can
You know,
imagine
he's still a danger as far as I'm concerned. They both are.
Okay, Linda, thank you. There's more.
Next we have Barry on line 3.
Barry, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. And you?
Yeah, not too bad, my friend.
what's
you
your
know,
view?
I think we've got quite a serious situation here where we've got people saying, look, they were kids, all right, it was planned. We know what they done, that it was planned. But at the end of the day, you know, none of us know how they've been rehabilitated. None of us know what's happened to this guy.
Barry, hang on.
Whatever he's done.
Rehabilitated means no longer returning to a criminal past. He's back behind bars. He's broken the terms of his
Well,
licence.
this is it. It's serious enough for him to break
Yeah.
the rules to get on
So
the
has he
bars.
been rehabilitated? If he's
Now,
back-
what they're doing is they've chucked it out into the public that this guy's now behind bars. They're not telling us what he's done. So how the hell can people comment? There's a hell of a lot of problems going on now where everyone's arguing about what this guy's done, but no one knows what he's done. Now, they need to make this public. And then, obviously, to go back into prison, he's done a serious enough thing for that to happen. I mean, I feel for the family. I would never want this man out on the streets if he'd done that to my boy. But then, like you say, you've got the bleeding hearts out there that turn around and say they were 10 years old. You know what I mean? Who was the guy that let this man out? They must have thought he was okay. Is he doing drugs? Has he got a job? You know, what are they doing? I just don't know. I mean, it's the top bods that are controlling everything.
Your views echoed by everybody that's trying to get online at the moment. I mean, it's clearly extremely controversial. Alan Johnson, who this morning was saying, I can't tell you on BBC 24, did then go on to say, but I expect more information will be released later. And I'm thinking, well, either we can't hear anything ever, or we can. The idea that, we're going to throw this out now, make everybody really angry, and then throw a little bit more light on it a little bit further down the line. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.